The following program is brought to you with limited commercial interruption.
Today's broadcast is being simulcast in broken English.
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world.
Welcome to the show that we're doing right now.
What the hell are we doing on this show?
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Let's go.
What is this?
Giggity, 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 goo.
Who else but
The Q.
it's showtime? Gentlemen, let's get down to business.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah, I can dig it, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Qnow. You're listening to the best pop culture, current events, current affairs show, east or west of that Mississippi River, hailing from the great city of St. Louis and worldwide at theqnow.com. I am your host, Mark Bland, joined as always, ladies and gentlemen, by my cohort. He would be like Robin to my Batman.
Right.
I feel like you'd be Robin to my Batman. Would
I might not wear that outfit.
well, could you wear the outfit?
I could wear it.
Like, just you wear
For
that
nostalgia.
outfit. Listen. Excuse me.
Yeah, for nostalgia. Sure.
Live on the air. Goodness. No, seriously. You live with me on the air, you in the Robin costume, but me
Right.
not wearing. I'm just dressed like this. I'm just dressed
just
like
wear-
normal. You decided
Robin
to just wear
showed
the
up.
Robin costume.
Like
for no
Batman
reason.
wasn't around, so Robin just showed up.
Just showed up.
Like,
just
hey,
to hang
guys,
out. What's going on? I'm
what
going to be
I
on the
wore.
radio with you.
I
It's
wore
me.
I wore the stuff.
Well, that's Jason Call, ladies and gentlemen. That is the individual I've been talking about. Evidently, Laura Ingraham has received the same fate as Tucker Carlson, and rightfully so. We will discuss that a little bit. Kim Gardner has left office in St. Louis early, and that is an awesome situation. We will discuss this. And our guest today, on this beautiful Saturday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, is one Mr. Pete. I want to say, I make sure I'm saying this right, Pete. Kachulis? Kachulis. Pete Kachulis, the host of Did You Know? We are going to chat with him. Welcome to the Qnow, Pete. How are you, sir?
Man, we're doing okay, I guess.
You're doing okay? You got to be more excited than that, Pete. I mean, you got a lot of wisdom between those two ears right there. You've been around a while.
I know,
You live,
but I'm up against a couple of Batman and Robin people. I mean,
you are. That's the fame.
is
Remember
true.
I was talking about let's pretend fame? Like that was I'm Batman and he's Robin.
But
Now we're here. We're doing this.
yeah, but did you know that in the University of Victoria they have a class that you can take, which is Batman?
Really? At the University of Victoria?
Yep.
Is this one of those Canada has a college situations? Right? Have you ever noticed when there's like some weird class in like Game Boy or something like that?
Yeah.
It's always some Canadian college offers this course.
There you go.
And you can go to it. Yes, Pete Kachulis is Kachulis.
If you're having problems with
I
it,
am Pete Kachulis, right?
just sneeze it out and get sneezy, then you'll be okay.
Kachulis.
Yeah, right.
All right, Pete Kachulis. I read it one way and I see the letters and I think Kachulis. I don't know why. You could be like Italiano, Pete Kachulis.
I'm all Greek.
You're all Greek, sir.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, welcome to the Qnow. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us. We know that you have quite the following on the YouTubes with your YouTube channel that's called Did You Know? And that's why you're here today, correct, Pete?
Yes.
You want to tell us some crazy, wonderful facts. But, Pete, I have to ask you, because you are now in the throes of 1280 AM, 105.3 FM, Fox News Radio, KYRO. That's newsradiokyro.com every Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Me, myself, Jason over here, and usually a guest of some sort. Today, you.
Lucky me.
Kachulis.
Thank you.
Basically, we do a show. It's called the Qnow. We love to talk to people about a lot of different things, and we're very happy to have you here. That's what I wanted to say.
Well, thank you for inviting me on.
You're more than welcome. Now, before we get too deep into the show, okay, I do need to find out, sir, this is a show where we tackle politics quite often. We discuss it. I know that might not be everybody's cup of tea out there in the world, and I get that. It's my cup of tea. It's Jay's cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's the cup of tea we choose and we love. Now, you are a human being who's got to vote in this world. Every 4 years is a presidential election. I'm sure a couple of times over the years you've gotten into the old Mercedes, cruised up to the elementary school, and casted the vote for a president of the United States, Mr. Kachulis.
Elks Lodge. I went to the Elks Lodge.
Maybe the Elks Lodge. It could have been a church back in the day. Pete's from the time period when St. Louis was nothing but brick homes and churches. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the entire town's makeup and history at that time period.
Yeah, nobody was getting killed at the time.
Nobody was getting... Well, I listen, I really don't understand the need to murder anyone else unless it is a super dangerous situation. Right. Like, it's got to be someone being held hostage at gunpoint. Fine, murder... I will see to it that if you go over the edge like that, to that extreme,
they just do it for fun.
And they decided to do it to you, I'll give it to you. Remember, I said in our last show or the show before, I said I didn't have a problem going down some of these roads with this. I don't mind the death penalty and things like that. I'm the moderate. Jason, he's the liberal guy. He's the a little bit more staunch liberal. Now, Pete.
Yes.
Where do you fall on the political spectrum yourself, sir, as we move forward in these discussions? Typically, over the years, maybe you started off conservative for a while and now you vote different. Maybe you've always been conservative. Maybe you've always been liberal. I don't know. We're asking these questions of you, sir.
Yeah, pretty much conservative.
Go ahead, get closer to that microphone. Don't be afraid to talk into it. It ain't going to bite you. I promise you. You said most of the years?
Hey, I would have to say conservative, mainly.
Mainly conservative over the years?
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We have tons of conservative listeners to the Qnow, and we love every single one of our fans and everybody who listens to this show all over the United States and everywhere in the world, where you can find us at theqnow.com every single week. Now, Pete, you have this YouTube channel.
Yes.
It's called Did You Know?
Correct.
Now, let's start off with, before we get to Did You Know, the background of one Pete K, as we'll call you. We'll call you Pete K.
How far back you want?
Well, let's get back into the early days. Tell us a little bit about Mom, a little bit about Dad. What'd Mom do for a living? What'd Dad do for a living?
We're going back.
Let's see. If you ever lived in Kirksville, Missouri,
which is where?
Which is up north.
Up north, like
near the Iowa border.
Near the Iowa border. So you're from a small rural area near the Iowa border.
Well, it ain't rural. It's like a college town.
Yeah.
Is it Kirksville?
Yeah. Have you heard of Truman
That's right.
College?
Yes, I have.
Northeast Missouri State when I was growing up?
Yes.
And
so you lived in a college town or on the outskirts of a college town?
In the college town, because my granddad started a Candyland store there in Kirksville. And my dad joined.
Are you saying Kirksville or
Kirksville?
Or Kirks?
K-I-R-K.
Kirksville. That's what I thought. I was confused because I originally thought he said Kirksville, and I was like, oh, that must be. And you said by the Iowa border. I'm like, okay, so it's like a rural small town. He's like, no, it's a college town. I'm like, wait a second. These are two completely opposite. So you're saying Kirksville,
right?
Which I understand now. All right, so you live in Kirksville, and a Candyland shop.
Yeah, it was called Pete's Candyland,
and so it was a candy shop.
Candy shop. It was for like the kids would go in there and have
malt shop.
Kind of. I mean, you'd walk in there, they'd have a marble deck there along with the Cokes and like they had the tin roof. They'd have Sundays and stuff like that, and they'd make sandwiches, and they had booze in there. And then on Saturday night, they'd have like dances for the kids and everything.
And this is was it a popular hangout spot in Kirksville?
I would say back in the 50s and early 60s.
That's what I was going to say, back in the day, quite a few years ago.
Yeah,
nothing personal.
Yeah, and then some family problems happened, and the next thing I know, my dad was a Fuller Brush salesman.
He was a Fuller Brush salesman.
All right.
Now, for the people out there who don't understand, explain Fuller Brush to them. because there's a lot of people out there under the age of 60 years old, and I'm dead serious. They literally would have never pulled that one out of their brain.
The fuller brush, huh?
Yeah, tell them a little bit about it.
That's a salesman that goes around and sells you like hair thing, shampoos, perfumes.
Fuller Brush was a brush company, but
Right.
it was a Fuller Brush company is what it was.
Yeah.
And they're very popular and well known, especially in the Midwest, for brushes.
Yeah.
That's what they always well known for. All right, fair enough. So what did Mom do? She owned the shop with Dad, right?
No, so Mom went to at the time it was Northeast Missouri State instead of Truman. But she got her master's degree in teaching.
Okay. So what did she teach?
She taught like anywhere from grades 3 to 7.
Okay, so she was like a middle school and high school teacher.
Right.
I gotcha.
And she tried to get a job there in Kirksville, and she never got accepted by there at Kirksville, but she found a job in Troy, Missouri.
Was that because of the time period, the way women were viewed in specific areas of the world? Academics for a long time did not have female teachers.
Well,
And so, I'm feeling like if we're going back to the time period we're talking about, would this be 50s, 60s?
you're looking at about 1970.
Not about 1970. Okay, so it's about the time my mom, right? She's going to college.
Okay.
Similar to your mom, right? Getting the master's degree and all that at that time period in history.
Correct.
A lot of women weren't in the workforce. They didn't have degrees of that level and that nature. It was not commonplace.
True.
So I was wondering if that was what led to her getting held back or down, why she couldn't get into the academia there. She or did she want high school? Did she want elementary and middle school?
I don't know the politics of it because, at the time, they were wanting to move back in 1969. That was the year I was going to be graduating from my senior year. And so they held back 1 year so I could graduate, and then we moved in 1970. Down to Troy.
So right around the time you graduate high school, you moved to Troy, Missouri.
That's it.
And you've been here in this area ever since.
Since then.
In the St. Louis area.
Right.
All right. And what did you obviously you weren't hosting Did You Know? Because in 2001, YouTube just didn't exist, Jay. You know what I'm saying? So what were you doing to make ends meet yourself over the years, sir?
I don't know if you realize, but your telephone company back then in area was Continental Telephone.
Okay. That was out here in this area?
Yeah. In fact, not too far up in the Winsville area.
Okay.
It's now a college, I think, that they took over that land there.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, they needed a computer tech that could hang computer tapes on a computer and all that. And back then, the computers were as big as your whole station here.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, they had like 2 computers going on one side with 7 tape drives on it. And they'd give me a book on how these programs would work and everything, and I'd have to hang the tapes and everything.
So you'd have to learn the program technically.
Bingo.
Just so that you understood when the tapes came into play and how to use that and all that aspect.
Yeah, and actually they kind of taught me about computers and everything. So,
well, that's really awesome.
So the next...
I'm a computer nerd myself, so I don't mind a fellow techie, a fellow computer nerd.
I always wanted to go back to college and become a hacker.
You did? So you worked for them. How long did you work with them?
Pretty much, I'd say almost. Okay, I started 70, about 8 to 9 years with them.
You were with them for about 9 years?
Yeah.
And then where do you go? Are you still doing computer stuff?
Oh, yeah. Well, I found a job down at United Missouri Bank of Kansas City, moved to St. Louis. They started branches.
Oh, UMBKC. Yeah.
Right. And UMB of St. Louis was born down here. And on 8th Street is where the main computer was, and that's where they hired me. And They hired us, and they hadn't had the computers installed yet. Honeywell had to install them. And so our boss at the time, Ernie Amberg, would take us out to the local DJ's area at the end of the night, and we'd have a fun night. But anyway.
A little party time.
Yeah.
Little kickback time.
There you go.
Well, they didn't even have the computers there. Like, they haven't even built them yet. Like, they hired you on the spot.
Yeah.
And, hey, if they're going to pay you and you ain't got nothing to do, you might as well make the best of it. So, I can't see that as being an issue.
No. Huh?
Yeah. So once they started up, they had like 4 branches total, and we did all their paperwork and card readers at the time and everything else. But we were considered what they called a remote site.
Ah, I see.
And we would collect all the data, send it up to Kansas City to the main computer, and the main computer would send us back all the info that we needed.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hey, we're going to take a quick break here on the Qnow. When we come back, more with myself, Pete Kachulis, as well as Jason Call. We'll be back here on KYRO after this. $12:80 a.m. KYRO News Radio, KYRO.com. The Qnow, Mark Bland, Jay Call, Pete K, the Doobie Brothers. Special request of our guest here today, Pete Kachulis, is here to discuss his YouTube channel called Did You Know? And I'm excited. Now, I'm excited for a couple of reasons
I like
here.
Did You Know stuff.
I'm excited for a couple of reasons here, Jay, okay? Number one, Pete is here with us to do Did You Know? But it's also the third round
Right?
of our teen movie, best teen movie ever tournament of pop culture. We've already had 2 rounds down. We are in round 3.
Right.
We have 16 more movies.
One side of the bracket's going to be set.
One side of the
here
bracket
today.
is going to be set for sure. Pete,
Yes.
I need to know. Have you been paying attention to the tournament of pop culture?
Not really, but what about Teen Wolf?
Teen Wolf would be a movie that could be considered a teen movie for sure.
Wow.
And it might. Have we seen Teen Wolf yet?
Not yet.
It might be on.
I wonder. We haven't had comedy yet.
Well, it's not about comedy. Remember, it could be any type of movie that's a teen-based movie.
I thought they broke it into like they sort of categorized it.
No. They have, but these are pretty unique. Like we had the damage category. People who had damage, emotional damage, or some like type of damage done to them.
I'm surprised Teen Wolf wasn't in that one.
I feel like Teen Wolf should have been in maybe the first one. Maybe hold on.
Wasn't he depressed?
Let me take a look here.
I don't remember it. That's not to say that
little preview for everybody out there.
I would think nostalgia wise, Teen Wolf. I would have put that through. I would have.
We are. I will give you this.
Yes.
2 things. One, Teen Wolf is not on this one.
Okay.
And this one's called. This section of the tournament is called Next Stop is an Adulthood.
Ooh. So
Next
this is
Stop,
a coming of age teen movies.
Adulthood. That's right. So these are coming of age or things where they are dealing with maybe even young adult, like early 20s. But it could also be dangerous movies. Movies that could be about gangs and things like that too. So it could be all kinds of stuff. Hey, lean on me. Lean on it.
Right?
That could have been an emotional movie. That was a teen movie.
All right.
What about Beach Blanket?
Exactly. With Annette Funicello. You are just so onto this. You know what I've learned about our friend Pete over here? He liked Annette Funicello growing up. That's what he wanted. He wanted some Annette Funicello at all times.
Well, Frankie Avalon got her.
That's fine. Well, that was Frankie's
It's
deal.
Frankie Avalon.
That was Frankie Avalon.
That's how he does it.
Now, Mr. Pete.
Yes, sir.
I like facts. I love facts. I love discussing facts. I love talking about facts. And you are a St. Louis resident yourself, correct?
Yeah.
Well, it seems as though our friend Kim Gardner has gone and decided to kick off early.
I wonder why.
Well, it's pretty obvious when you're not prosecuting cases and everyone who works with you sees the writing on the wall well before you do, that you're already not dealing with a full deck in regards to some of these things. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to like sell Kim Gardner as some like devil or some horrible human being.
She's bad at her job.
She just didn't do her job properly, and people did not like that. Doesn't matter what color she wasn't prosecuting cases. It was becoming an issue. Things were happening. Things are getting more and more dangerous. There needs to be somebody holding people accountable, because if not, we're going to have chaos. Kim Gardner was not that person.
Well, the courts were in chaos because prosecutors weren't showing up.
Right. Because they were being told, we're not prosecuting these cases.
That's about it. I mean, these judges, I used to be a bail bondsman down there in St. Louis. And if you didn't dress right, some of them judges looked at you like, get the heck out of my court.
You were a bail bondsman, huh?
You.
You. So what's the craziest thing you ever dealt with?
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. We're ready. We're always ready here on the Qnow. What are you talking about? First off, we're rock stars over here, sir. And don't you effing forget it. Rock stars. No.
I noticed you're doing the twist over there, but
I am doing the twist. More beach blanket bingo. There it is. Annette Funicello again. This dude is stuck on Annette. I got to get Annette Funicello in this tournament of pop culture today, or else I'm going to be. All right. So what I love about the fact that Kim Gardner is gone is that we can move forward and maybe get somebody who will prosecute.
Yeah.
Where the problem begins for me is how badly the state wanted to get involved in the decision making on that down there, since those are St. Louis residents who voted locally for that St. Louis person. It had nothing to do with the state.
Parsons is the one that he said he's gonna appoint
Ethan Schultz or whatever his name is. Yeah.
Yeah, why is Parsons getting involved?
We don't know. We don't understand this. See, this is the weirdness of conservatives in most cases, and Republicans. Weird ones. Listen, hey, Pete, you might be a conservative, and you might even be a Republican. You might consider yourself GOP or Republican in voting style or as a voter.
What?
That's very possible. We don't need to put it out there for people. It's not their business. It's okay. But my point being, this is not about politics when these people handle their own business. You're trying to make it about state politics. We want to be in there. We want to have a say in this, that, and the other. We're going to make it. It's like you don't even make sure the state runs correctly half the time. Now, I think that if you put most individuals who host news or political shows in the same seat as your favorite host, Mark Bland, right now,
sitting there,
most of them would say almost identical to what I just said. Because I think the common general consensus across the United States, if you ever want to poll the majority, is that they're not too happy with their state. Most are not happy with their state or the state's direction at any one given time. Now, do you want to know why I think that is? A lot of states, Jay, and I know Missouri ain't one of them, but a lot of states, I feel like that they kind of tug in the middle. They kind of tug in the middle. And that's very stressful because it kind of keeps everybody on their toes, on an even keel, but on their toes, whereas with Missouri tugging a little bit more to the right and making things a little bit more wasteful. I mean, I don't know if I haven't ever said this on the air, but they're probably one of the more, if I was to really get some investigative journalists and dig in, I bet you our Capitol Hill in Jeff City, I bet you it is just plagued with crime and issues behind the scenes and under the covers.
It's usually the case.
Like, these people are up to a lot of no good. Literally, like, if we were to Patriot Act these people to death and just pull everything about their lives and investigate every aspect of it, I bet you we would find out that over 80% of them just live like not a decent human being anyway.
Probably.
Just in general, across the board.
I can think of one.
I would, yeah, for sure. He's not even
who I'm talking
He lives in West Virginia. He doesn't even live in Missouri. He just says that he does.
Right.
I got a question for you.
What do you got? A question? What do you got,
The
Pete?
question is, how come a politician can start, from the first, and, not have much income, and then 4 years later come out a millionaire?
Well, what I'll explain, Pete,
Yes.
is that politics is Hollywood for ugly people. And Hollywood plays on fame and popularity. And fame and popularity tends to be a lucrative business. There are hundreds upon hundreds of ways that famous people can tap in and become lucrative in their own success and their name recognition.
Right.
Politicians are no different. Aside from big money deals, yeah, they get bribes. Sure, they're going to get under the table monies, but they're also going to get speaking engagements and
They write
endorsements, books, things. They do all kinds of things. People just don't want to accept that things like that can be very popular or can be very popular for popular people.
Yeah.
Like, it goes hand in hand. So, to answer your question, that's the best, like, nail on the head type answer I can give you as far as how they can go from a little to nothing to a lot more within a 4-year span.
Okay.
Or they marry into rich circles.
Not every single person who gets elected every single election cycle
hobnob.
is the brand new first time 21-year-old mayor who is the first one ever elected at that age. Most of the time it's
usually
somebody
are already
who's
rich.
been popular around the areas where they're from and people know their name already.
Already
like
loaded.
this is why
From a
Josh
family.
Josh Hawley and Eric Schmidt make no sense. To be absolutely 100% honest with you, Eric Schmidt's name actually resonated more than Josh Hawley's ever did. Yeah. Josh Hawley kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he was just senator all of a sudden. And we were like, whoa, wait, what? And then it's like, oh, yeah, but that's mostly the west side of the state.
Yeah,
if you're looking at a map, that would be the left side.
Well,
but the west side of the state.
But still, you don't hear anything from it. Except for walking down the street during January 6th or whatever it was.
Yeah, well, that's just because, listen, as we've stated, I still don't think that the conservative stance, Jason, in our country has really changed all that much since the 90s. I would say, once we hit the 90s, we kind of got past that popcorn, pop culture aspect of the 80s.
Yeah.
We got a little bit more locked in on day-to-day pop culture being a part of the norm. And so now where we sit in 2023, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like a super evolution of that version.
Well,
we haven't really ever grown out of it. We're always going to be that middle of the road country. Technically,
when was shows like Hard Copy and Inside? That was early 90s.
That would be early 90s, late
that probably
80s.
Started to change the pop culture theme.
Sure.
Entertainment Tonight was a popular show, so we started seeing more celebrities and.
I think
like a precursor
people
to
ask me when
paparazzi.
reality TV started. My answer has always been the same: the O.J. Simpson trial. It wasn't Real World. It wasn't this.
Yeah.
Those things existed, yes. But true reality TV for the mainstream started with that trial.
I could see that, yeah.
Once that trial happened and there was court TV 24/7
Started
constantly it started TMZ but it was constantly playing for that 3 to 4 month swath of time every day throughout every aspect of everything leading up to and when the trial happened and everything during the trial and for literally probably a few years afterwards.
Well, they would sit and watch the trial live all day.
Yeah.
Then watch shows on E.
Oh yeah,
about the trial.
Yeah, that's
right?
legit, ladies and gentlemen. Like we're this is where like the mainstream reality TV that you love and know today. Your Survivor. This is where it really comes from. This give them an engaging, real world aspect to lock into. Okay, so we're going to take 16, relatively young, but maybe not all young. We might have an older naked guy there or something, someone rich. We don't know. But listen, here's the deal. We're going to take it and we're going to put them all on it. Oh, now you got a color. They're all on an island. What are they doing? Well, they're all trying to survive. They have nothing.
Yeah.
They are only allowed to bring so much with them, and they got to do these different competitions and all this. And it's going to be like, really? Well, but it gets engaging because they started arguing and started fighting and they started this and they started that. And that's how we get to where we're at with reality TV, which honestly kind of leads into where we are with our friend Pete today. Because Pete is on YouTube. And YouTube was the internet's natural, regurgitation of that reality TV pop culture aspect.
Nothing but videos.
Here, all of you can do it now. Go. That was literally what YouTube was. And Did You Know is the name of the show that that we've got Pete Kachulis here for. And when we come back, before we get into the tournament of pop culture, we're going to talk to Pete Kachulis. I got to find out some facts, Pete. I need to know some things. I want to know. Can I know?
Oh, I got some things for you.
All right. Well, then when we get back, we will be talking with Pete about Did You Know, his YouTube show. We'll be back on the Q after this. $12:80 a.m. KYRO. The Qnow, Mark Bland, Jason Cole, Pikachu, joining us today with his YouTube channel called Did You Know? And we're welcoming him here to Fox News Radio, 1280 AM, KYRO. And we're excited, Jason. We're excited, not only for our tournament of pop culture that's coming up, but to talk to Pete about some unique facts. This is why he's here, ladies and gentlemen. Did You Know is his YouTube channel. And how long have you had the YouTube channel now, Pete?
Since September of 2021.
So since September of 2021, you've been putting out these amazing... Get up on that microphone, by the way. I want to make sure that you're close to it. Or you can pull it down. You can get it close to your... There you go, like that. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
That better?
A lot better, sir. People can hear you clear. I want them to hear the info. I want it to flow from your mouth into their ears and tickle their spinal cord. Right at the base of their brain. Just a little bit.
It's going to tickle you better than anybody.
It's going to tickle me better than anybody? Oh. Well, this show just went a different direction than I expected. All right. So, Pete, you've had this show since 2021, and how's the journey been for you so far? How have you enjoyed it?
Oh, I've had a lot of fun doing it. I mean, it's really great.
And it's not your only one, right? You have other YouTube channels, or you have other shows?
Yeah, I got 2 other channels out there.
What are the 2 other channels you got?
The other channel, the main channel, was called PNK Experience.
The PNK Experience.
Yeah, that. It's more or less entertaining. I was started out with shelf
Peter Lenegron.
Yeah.
Kachulis.
And YouTube's now into these shorts, as they say. And I've been pushing those out, and I got about 155 videos on this channel.
On YouTube Shorts?
Yeah. Well, the shorts are probably half that right now.
Now, is that Did You Know?
No, that's the PNK Experience. The Did You Know has got like 85 videos on it.
Nice.
And I mean, it's on various
Did You Know just sounds like a thing that would work on TikTok or YouTube Shorts hardcore because it's so easy.
Yeah.
Just throw the information out there. Let it ride itself.
Pretty much so. I mean, I try to get as much info as I can. I don't try to get too political on it.
Now, have you always been what I would say, like infophile or a person who gets into minutia? Is that your thing? Like, is that kind of how you have you been a tinkerer? Are you a tinkerer?
I'm a tinkerer.
You are a tinkerer. Now, do you tinker outside of this world? Like, this is doing videos and researching information. Do you tinker in any other way? Like, do you have any other hobbies that you're into or anything like that?
Well, I mean, we talked about computers. Now we're getting into AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah, how are you liking that?
That is really terrific. I mean,
are you having fun playing with it?
Yes, there's some videos I've made on Did You Know that's through AI. So,
and now, all right, what kind of information, if I go to Did You Know, would I be privy to hear? Or what do you got for me over there? You know I'm excited. You got excited. We're gonna share information that's gonna lead to other conversations. That's gonna lead to dopeness. I can't wait.
We love dopeness around here, in case you're wondering.
Like this one. Cool. Like this one for all of you out there. Jason, did you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Probably not.
That's gonna be my new thing. Did you know?
Maybe. I might. I was looking at some
Did you know? Did you know? There is a hotel in Sweden made entirely of ice, including the beds and the furniture.
No,
I
thought that was just a James Bond thing.
No, it's an entire hotel. It literally exists. Now,
nice.
We should set up a trip to that hotel to check it out. I think that would be really
Hopefully
interesting to see.
Hopefully there's a mattress on the ice bed.
No, it's strictly ice. You just lay on it.
Lay on ice?
Just lay on
like
ice?
The worst
that doesn't
hotel
feel
ever.
Yeah, it sounds
Everyone's
like the worst
tired
hotel
and cranky.
Ever. Yeah.
Freezing.
And freezing.
Yeah, I
can't sleep.
You gotta
ice.
They gotta keep it at a certain temp or it's gonna melt.
I guess you couldn't put a mattress on it.
Just think, you could be eaten by a whale or something, you know?
You could be.
That'd be all right. Go down. That'd be a good way to go out.
Eaten by a whale?
Right?
Can you imagine if you
listen,
if you survived being like imagine a whale
swallowed
bit into you. Bit into you. Maybe it took your foot or something. You were able to get away from it. In the stories you got to hit on girls with now about how you literally lost your foot, like because a whale bit it off, and you were like literally a whale. You were attacked by a whale, like Moby Dick style, and you survived.
Chicks
that would
everywhere.
be I would hope.
Be all you do is
only you could hope, Jay.
Tons of chicks.
Imagine, or boys, if you're into that sort of thing.
I'm doing everything.
Jesus.
Hey, I lost a foot, man.
I didn't realize. Yeah, that's a good point. You're gonna appreciate every moment you got left on this
Dudes,
earth, right?
chicks,
all of it.
Guy lost his mind.
Got to. I mean, you know. Yeah.
All right, Pete. What do you got for me? Give me something. Hit me. I hit you with a zinger there. I got you with something solid. What do you got for me?
How about surprising facts about U.S. presidents?
All right, I'm into surprising facts about U.S. presidents. Let's go. Tell me what Willie T. Hubbs would have been like or something. I don't know.
Did you know John Quincy Adams would go skinny dipping in the Potomac?
I did know that, actually.
I've heard this before.
Yes.
He would go out early in the morning to swim naked, and that's the naked truth.
Hold on. Can I say something real quick based off of that? We're going to have to find a mental institution for you people that get up and go swimming at 5 o'clock in the morning as like the start of your day, okay?
That's a terrible
You
start of the day.
are a serial killer in waiting and you deserve everything I am talking about, like prison. It's weird. You people are weird.
If I got up at 5 in the morning.
And I love to work out. I don't mind working out.
And dove in a pool, I would drown.
I don't think you'd drown.
I think I'd drown.
I feel like you'd wake up.
Swimming,
I feel like you'd wake up.
Going to sleep.
I feel like you'd wake up.
I'd be like Whitney Houston or Aaron Carter.
I hate getting into a really cold swimming pool and then all of a sudden you get used to it.
Yeah,
so it doesn't feel.
move?
It doesn't feel. And the minute you get out, it reminds you.
Again,
It cools you down.
All right. So JQ Adams does his thing in the Potomac.
Right.
They were all.
What else?
Now here's something that you should know.
Okay.
Because you're a wrestler.
Oh.
Did you know Abe Lincoln was an awesome wrestler?
I did know this. This is a well-known fact about Abe Lincoln. That he was not a professional. He was a wrestler.
He was a wrestler. When Abe Lincoln moved to New Salem, Illinois in 1831, he ran across a local bully named Jack Armstrong, which challenged Lincoln to a wrestling match outside of Denton Offcut's store, where Lincoln was a clerk. And the townspeople gathered to watch and wager on it, and Lincoln won.
And so starts the history books.
Man, living back then had to suck.
Literally, no. Think about it. Think about it.
You wouldn't know any different, so it wouldn't suck to you.
It wouldn't suck to you. It would be like every day this is what our world is like now.
That would be fun.
But think about it. Think about it.
These guys are gonna wrestle.
Growing up, when Pete grew up, had to be the most unique mind F. And the reason it is because what year were you born, sir?
Do you really want to know that?
Yes, I would like to know this.
1951.
51. Okay.
That's a year before my dad.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're going back. We're talking, this is Ralphie. This is the Ralphie Christmas. It's the 1950s.
He was probably born a little earlier.
It's the 19. Well, he's born before that, but
it's 54, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is when Pete was born. Like, we're talking Ralphie Christmas.
Yeah, he could have been Ralphie's younger brother.
Now think about that. You could have been born in 1880. Right, grown up the last 20 years of the last of the 1800s. Listen, that's the Wild West years,
right?
Okay,
yeah.
So think about it.
No lights.
It's Deadwood. It's the show Deadwood.
Yeah,
like that. Life is Deadwood. Okay, it sucks.
Everything burns.
There is no doctor. No, the doctor is not a doctor. The doctor is basically your Uncle Hank drunk, telling you what he thinks could help you. Maybe,
right?
Like there is no hospital where this guy went to school for hundreds of thousands of dollars. No.
Your doctor took some classes and then they were like, just go.
But you could have been born with that as your doctor.
Yeah,
and you could have died in the 1970s. With relatively amazing hospital care in the 1970s compared to the 1870s.
Even the 1940s.
Oh, my God. 1940 to 1970. Just
way better.
Way better. Like, just leaps and bounds. We're really lucky because we're born in the 70s, so we're getting to experience the early days of that. When we were babies, we're born into the 70s. We're born into that world, like that more rudimentary world that's greater than the 1870s. But it's still not where we're at in 2024.
No, still didn't have the medications you have today.
And just the jumps we made in the last 20 years alone.
In the 70s, things were still a little shady.
The last 20 years alone is crazy.
Yeah, right.
Just the last 20 years alone. We're talking with Pete over here about AI and how fun it is to play with that. And literally think about this. We made movies about how AI would become dangerous. It would take over computers and it would wreak havoc on the world. Right. We've literally taken AI, created it, put it into actual usage. It has turned around every single time and blown back up. It became racist, anti-Semitic. It became all kinds of different things.
Terminator.
It became like Terminator. It became destructive is what it became. And guess what? We still haven't perfected it, but we're here in 2023 and we're working on it. We're going to, and someday it'll be 2050 and we'll be a lot further along in this AI discussion than where we're at right now.
Fire.
And you guys might be here, you might not, but it might be amazing to see what we're able to pull off in 2050.
You know what I'm going to think?
Think about this. It's 2023.
It is.
Just imagine AI in 2030.
Well, I was going to say.
Just 70 years.
I was going to say, how many years away do you think we are before a company makes deals with the families and the estates of old dead actors, and we have our first AI-generated movie with dead actors?
Yeah, they already started doing that.
Because they've already done it a little bit with Rogue One. At the end, you had what Grand.
Well, sure, they could do. They always
their face over existing actors, and I mean that looked real. It didn't look like computer generated. I mean, it did a little bit. But
is it that big
real.
of a deal? Is it that big of a deal that an Al Pacino lives on?
My question to both of you guys: are you scared of AI?
I'm not scared of it in that aspect. I'm scared of it where they're going to make fake videos of one of our politicians saying something terrible that's not real, and 20% of the country still believes it.
You got fake news doing that now.
But I mean, like even more if you have like a video.
It's tough to ask our generation because Gen X, we're kind of like the guinea pig generation. They kind of tested video games on us, the internet,
"How do they like
computers. Like we were they weren't testing computers on you. You were the one who literally was creating the computers that were being tested on me when I was 8 years old.
Yeah, but I was back there with peace, love, and
But prior to 76, listen, this is a good example though. Prior to 76 in the year I was born, right? Computers really weren't all that impressive on a localized, regional, or even statewide level throughout the Midwest, much less the nation at that time in history. They were more used behind the scenes by the government or universities to talk to each other, and that was about it. And they weren't being used in any applications, really. It wasn't until kind of Apple and the 2GS and all those computers we went to elementary school and used, which taught us about Carmen Sandiego and everything.
Where is she?
Like, where is Carmen Sandiego? Like, all
at?
that. Like, that Apple 2GS computer is one of the most popular computers in the history of computers.
We still didn't grow up with something cool, though. Pete was in high school in the craziest year ever, 1968.
Well, yeah.
You got to experience that. And
Sure,
I'm
sure,
so
but that
jealous.
is, you know what that is? That is
There's no year like
that is almost like when the rat cuts its head off. Like literally, the kids are at themselves because the older adults, what we call the boomers today, right? They always call them boomers because they're the baby boomers, but that's my parents.
there you go.
Pete, you might be baby boom. Would you be a baby boomer?
Yeah, he is.
Would you be considered one?
Yeah,
I'd be
51.
considered.
It'd be 48.
Were your parents in the war?
Yeah.
Your dad was?
Yeah, Dad was in World War II along with the Korean War.
Oh, wow. He was in both.
Yeah.
What did he do?
World War II, he was in the tank corps over there in the Pacific.
Oh, in the Pacific, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, and being in a tank and being over in the Pacific, I mean, you'd get into some heat and.
All right, hold on. Put a pin in that right there. I want you to save that. We're going to come back to the tank store. We're going to take a quick break here on the Qnow. When we come back, more with myself, Pete, as well as Jason. We'll be back right after this. $12:80 a.m. KYRO 105.3 FM News Radio KYRO.com. This is the Qnow. It's Saturday. And you can hear us here every Saturday from the 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock time slot, Central Standard Time. Today we are joined by Pete Kachulis. Mr. Kachulis is teaching us about stuff from his YouTube channel, Did You Know? We are enjoying ourselves talking about all kinds of unique pieces of information. I've been competing with him for coolest piece of information. Did you guys know that honey never spoils?
Did you know honey and cinnamon is really great?
Well, I would assume it is.
Right?
It's always delicious.
They taste great apart.
No, archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are over 3,000 years old and still perfectly edible.
Wow.
Ooh.
Well, who's the person who tried that one out? First off, who was the person who was like, you know what I'd love to do? Hold on.
You know,
their finger a couple of times.
There's a market for that too. If you put a little teeny bit of it in jars and sold it for $10,000, there'd be idiots that would give you people would just have throwaway money.
Hey, listen, before we went to the break, Jason, our friend Pete was telling us a story about his father.
Yes, I love war
in
stories.
World War II, or was it the Korean War?
World War II.
It was World War II, the tanks.
Yeah.
What about him?
He was in the tank corps over there in the Pacific. And I mean, when he was explaining the Pacific, I mean, it would get awfully hot on those islands that he was on.
Oh, sure, yeah,
And
because of the equator where they're located.
Tank.
Yeah, and I mean, you're stuck in a tank.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it gets hot, and I mean...
And we're talking about a time period where we do not have the technological advancements.
They don't have AC and a radio.
Heat shield metal that can be like paper thin on the outside of the tank, but that's all they need is a paper thin layer, and all of a sudden the tank doesn't take on heat anymore.
Tank's like 120 degrees.
Exactly. It's like a time where he's like, listen, it's going to be 4,000 degrees in there the entire time. And he's like, are you sure?
Right?
I don't know for sure, but I feel it
did
feels that way.
Pete's dad did that.
He did that.
That's crazy.
That
these
is
guys
nuts to
did
think
that.
your dad did that.
Yeah, but do you realize that? Did you know that the British made tanks that they can actually make their tea in it?
It would get so hot.
A tank?
In a tank. They had a server in there that they can make their own tea.
Oh, just
Interesting.
in there, like made it like that.
Yeah,
They were
I mean,
big tea.
yeah,
it'd be like our guys making like a coffee machine or something.
Hey,
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Pete, we're going to have to put a hold here for a little bit on any more competition of Did You Know? Coolest facts that have ever existed edition, which is what we are doing so far.
back to Annette Funicello.
She might be on there.
She might be on there. She may be on there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our third round of the Tournament of Pop Culture for Best Teen Movie. This section is called Next Stop to Adulthood.
Yeah.
These are movies that are a little bit
Risky.
Yeah.
All right.
In fact,
Ooh.
there's a movie. There's a movie with the word risky in it.
Risky Business is one of them.
I bet it might be.
I bet it is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 16 more movies until we get down to our final four here in just a couple of weeks, where we do the final four of the championship and find out what is the greatest teen movie of all time. Now,
Do it.
on this list, I've got 16 more badass choices. Okay?
They're all badass.
Well, they're all badass choices. Now, Pete, you've seen a lot of film, a lot of cinema.
Oh, yeah.
From the days of the talkies all the way up till now. Okay?
Go for it.
Vaudeville. You in vaudeville. All right? Got it.
Wasn't born in 1921.
Makes it sound like he was. Jesus.
All
right.
Three Stooges.
In our first round here on the Next Stop to Adulthood bracket, Superbad.
Ah.
A classic.
Right? That's a good one. That's a party
Pete,
movie.
have you seen Superbad? Or do we need to just get a coin? Is Pete going to be, you know what? No, I'm going to make Pete listen.
We'll explain it a little bit.
We'll explain a little bit. We'll let Pete, we'll make Pete choose.
I think my mom's seen this movie.
All right. Superbad. Jesus, Pete. You're
think she
killing
has.
it. Pete, this was one of the most popular movies of its time period. Like
what, 2010, 2005?
no, it'd be like 2008,
Were you talking?
2009.
Are you talking about the two cops in Superbad?
See, he knows.
Yes, okay, so you've seen Superbad. Good.
Okay.
And the movie Dope, which is actually a really good coming-of-age
movie.
teen movie. Does it hold a candle to Superbad?
No. You know what?
No.
Cheech and Chong would do better.
No, well,
Right?
yeah, then Dope. Then Dope, yeah, for sure.
Like,
For sure.
the thing about the movie Dope that I can't watch it is what's her face? Who's plays his girlfriend in it? I have to look that. Oh gosh, her name's. But anyway, she's so annoying, and I guess she's so good at playing this annoying person that I can't watch that movie. I get too angry.
I love Dope. I think Dope is a great film. I think it's a film that I would recommend people. Have you ever seen Dope, Pete?
Nah, I've never seen that one.
Now, if you get a chance, like you got the streamings, right?
Yeah.
You got the streamings at home. Sometimes it's a Tuesday night. You're chilling out. You kick the feet up. Do you smoke a little? Maybe you smoke a little. Maybe you don't.
Eat brownies.
Maybe you have maybe you eat brownies. Maybe Pete's cool. Pete's cool is what I'm saying. Pete's cool. All right? Watch Dope. Check out Dope.
Check it out.
It's a pretty solid little movie. I think you'll really like it. But I feel like Superbad moves on. You're just not gonna beat the quality of acting, the story. McLovin? Are you kidding me? Right. McLovin? Your name is McLovin, and it's one name? Like Prince?
No one's going to look. It says he's from Hawaii.
It said he was from Hawaii. That's fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Next up, a movie. Now, I don't know if, Jason, you have seen said next movie.
I don't know.
I did. It's a good movie. It's a solid movie. It's a good movie. Now, this is an 8 versus 9 seat. Okay, yes. So these are going to be a little bit closer in proximity to their abilities anyway. But Can't Buy Me Love.
That is, I have seen that movie.
Versus Adventureland, which is the movie I'm not sure if you've seen.
It It's one of those movies that I've seen it in parts where it was on. I think it did a run on Stars or HBO.
If I had to choose between these two, Adventureland is one of those like quirky, tries to be unique,
It's
ironically quirky for the sake of ironically being quirky. Is that the best way for me to describe that? Probably.
It's like it's not as much.
It's almost like they tried to be quirky.
Yeah, where the other one is
Can't Buy Me Love is just a really solid story. It's your classic old school,
and for its
like it's just
genre,
right on that
it's
age
the teen
group.
movie.
It's that it's like right on that age,
where
like that
Adventureland
gray
is
area.
almost like a movie for people in their 20s.
It is. It really comes off that way.
Right,
Actually,
yeah.
Who was in Can't Buy Me Love again? Wait a second.
That was Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah, it was Patrick Dempsey. I'm gonna go Can't Buy Me Love. Pete, have you seen Can't Buy Me Love?
No, I'm going by. Is that the Beatles?
No, but it's based off of that song. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So
It is.
No.
It is
And have you seen Adventureland?
Adventureland, the one that comes to my mind is that a guy is being dropped off onto an island that's supposed to be his prison or whatever.
Oh no. This is a different movie.
Okay.
So Jason, I'm going Can't Buy Me Love.
I am too.
Okay, so Can't Buy Me Love moves on, and this is okay. This is okay because you know what? Pete's going to shine on some of these other ones. I know he is. I know he's going to shine on some of these other ones. Next up, two heavy hitters. This might be this could be a later round matchup. Honestly,
Yeah.
if it's this category, this could be a later round matchup. American Pie.
Oh, that's
From 1999. Very good. Very good. So funny. So many funny. That character of Stifler is one of the best characters in the history of movies. I really do believe
it was
Stifler
good in the
is.
theaters, but then when the unrated DVD comes out,
It was
that
so much
almost
better.
twice as good.
Dude, just the blooper reel was hilarious. Now, it's going up against a heavyweight. Probably, first off, one of the greatest casts I've ever seen in a teen movie in my entire life, The Outsiders.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Like, you've got Ralph Macchio, you've got Tom Cruise, you've got Patrick Swayze, who we said has already been in a few of
Emilio
our movies.
Estevez.
Yeah, Emilio Estevez. Like, Charlie
Thomas
Sheen.
Howell.
We got C. Thomas Howell.
Right.
Like, you've got some of the most iconic... That's the Brad Pack, like early Brad Pack, like the original early Brad Pack.
That's pre-Red Dawn, some of those dudes. Too. That's like...
But The Outsiders is probably one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's so good.
And it's alive today because it's required
so
reading in most
good.
like 6th and 7th grade ELA classes.
It's just so good, though. Pete,
all of my kids have read that for school.
if you had to choose between American Pie, which I'm sure you've seen American Pie,
Yes, but
and The Outsiders,
it's unfair because you're looking comedy versus
It is,
drama.
right?
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's the
This
problem.
isn't-
This is why the Tournament of Pop Culture exists. See, Pete, you don't understand. The Tournament of Pop Culture is not about fairness.
This is about
It is about this is Thunderdome. 16 men enter, 1 man leave. Like, there is no... Listen, I know that you... But here's the problem. There is a number 1 and 2 movie of all time in this world. Whether we want to admit it, somewhere out there, it has been tabulated and calculated to the point to where they will tell you what is the most watched scene and recited, blah, blah, blah. Every single, like, identifiable info marker, that like your information, right? Did you know? That information, and it can get it to the pinpoint of telling us what the greatest movies, 2 movies of all time are. I'll tell you both those movies, and we'll still discuss and argue and go back and forth about those 2 movies. And there is a discernible 1 and number 2. We just don't know what it is.
That's American Pie.
Now, American Pie is going up against The Outsiders right now.
Well, I'm going to have to go with American Pie if you're going to go that route.
You're going to go American Pie.
Yep.
I am going to go Outsiders because I like The Outsiders. I think as a teen dramedy is what I would call that.
I mean, there is funny
this
stuff
is a
in
movie
it,
that was up for Academy Award, though.
but it's not like there's so much death in it that I couldn't say that I laughed a lot.
Well, sure not, but this is about the best teen movie of all time. Maybe the best teen movie of all time isn't going to be a happy story. Maybe it'll be a sad story.
But I'm going to say, like, when
Stay golden, pony boy.
When I watched American Pie, I'm like 25, 26.
And you're laughing every second.
I felt like I've been waiting. That movie has been my entire life to watch that movie. Like that movie was made
for our age
for
group.
my age group to see at that time.
Oh yeah,
and just be like, oh my god, and laugh. So I have to go American Pie, even though The Outsiders is probably a better movie.
All right.
But
there it is, ladies. Two men enter, one man leave.
It is teen related because teens read it today in school.
But my point is two men enter, one man leave.
That's an unfair first round matchup.
I told you it was a later round matchup, but The Outsiders is a fantastic movie. That's what I'm saying.
That's like 1 and 2 facing off for the first round.
Yeah.
Now we're going to do Can't Hardly Wait versus 21 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street's pretty funny.
21 Jump Street is pretty funny, but is it Seth Green in the bathroom with the chick with the backpack trying to do the whole condom, trying to figure out the whole condom situation for sex? Like, Can't Hardly Wait. We get what's his name from Stand By Me? The fat kid from Stand By Me.
Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell crushing beer cans on his forehead, explaining how college isn't good, like high school, the high school party is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's like, "You're an icon. You're so-and-so from last year. Oh, my God."
He tells the douchey guy.
Yeah, he tells him all that. Like, Can't Hardly Wait's got some classic stuff in it.
That is pretty good.
The 21 Jump Street cameo, I do love. I do love the 21.
End,
I do love the cameo.
Yeah, it's not a spoiler, guys. There's 2 of them. If you haven't seen the first one, it's not my fault. Actually, the second one.
I feel like
funny too.
I feel like gosh, that's a really tough one. I'm gonna go Can't Hardly Wait.
Yeah, I mean, 21 Jump Street isn't. I mean, they're adults coming back to trick teens.
Sure,
So,
exactly.
you know what I mean?
It's more of an adult movie where they do
kids.
with teen stories and stuff like that.
Whereas Can't Hardly Wait's about teens. It's a high school film.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Can't Hardly Wait.
Yeah.
All right, Can't Hardly Wait moves on, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break here on the Qnow. When we come back, more with myself and Pete and Jason. We're rolling through the next stop to adulthood section of our Tournament of Pop Culture for best teen movie of all time. So we will be back and moving forward right after this. 1280 a.m. KYRO, Frankie Valley.
This is a teen
Welcome
movie.
back to the Tournament of Pop Culture Best Teen Movie Bracket. Week 3. Next stop to adulthood is the bracket section we're dealing with. We got Pete Kachulis here. Did
you know
that, ladies and gentlemen? You probably did. Next up on our wonderful list, brought back by the music of Frankie Valley, Grease, with Olivia Newton-John and one John Travolta. Prior to anything he did with... So he's got a weird career because he's got that Saturday Night Fever kind of come into existence. Right? So he's real popular for that. Mm-hmm. But I would say Grease was what you identified John Travolta with all the way up until you got to Pulp Fiction.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Anything post-Grease up till Pulp Fiction, it was all Grease. Nobody was talking about Saturday Night Fever. Nobody cared about that. It was all Grease. Grease versus Risky Business. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one.
That is tough.
That's a young Tom Cruise.
Right? That's classic scene.
Feeding. Oh, my God.
Classic scene.
Tom Cruise in the sunglasses and the Calvin Klein underwear.
Right? The Bob Seger song.
That whole look, just that scene on the cover of it.
How many people did that?
That poster. How many times did you see that poster or that T-shirt? A million times at least.
But then... There's way more quotable and memorable scenes in Grease.
Grease has got a great soundtrack.
And Grease is a little more adult than people think.
Oh, yeah. A lot more adult.
It's not goofy comedy. There's some pretty heavy...
There is some heavy stuff in there. You might have John Travolta's best solo acting performance outside of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I mean...
It's possible.
There's people that probably like.
Nobody
that like-
expected him to nail it that easily. Like it was like perfect.
There's probably people that like Look Who's Talking.
Olivia Newton-John. Well, listen, I like Look Who's Talking, but it wasn't
not like Grease.
Not like Grease.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like it's Pulp Fiction and it's Grease.
Here's the problem. Though. Because there's a lot going on in Grease. There's the songs, right? There's the acting. There's the quality of the film, the story. Like there's a lot going on in Grease.
Nostalgic in the
Risky
70s,
Business doesn't have what I would consider a great story. It's got iconic moments. It's got iconic moments.
There's when they're being chased. He's like, we're going to be killed by the guy Guido, the pimp or whatever.
He actually bribed the college guy that came in.
The admissions guy, right?
Yeah, the admissions guy. I mean, you know, he figured that after he came in, he was going to the University of Illinois.
Oh.
Yeah, it takes place in Chicago.
Well,
but
Pete, have you seen Grease?
Yes, I've seen them both.
And if you were to go onto a desert island with one of these two movies, and you could only take that movie with you, which movie would you go with?
Well, there's boobs and Risky Business.
I'm going to go Grease. I'm just putting mine out there right off the bat. I'm going to go Grease.
So there's that.
There is a lot of good-looking girls. I mean, can you take both? No. I mean, you know, you got to pick one. So
pick the one with the girls if that's what you like. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, what's her name?
Which girl do you want? The prostitute, or do you want the Rebecca De Mornay? She was hot,
but then turned out to be crazy a few years later.
She was really nuts. I'm going Grease.
All right.
Where are you going to go?
We'll go Grease.
You're going to go Grease?
I was going to go Grease anyway.
All right, Grease is moving
Grease is
on.
That's my wife's favorite.
There you
go.
Well, Grease is a great movie.
There's a Did You Know? Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
Favorite movie.
How'd you do that? Was my wife's favorite movie, Mark. All right. Up next, Boys in the Hood, a coming-of-age classic.
Right?
Where
they're teens. They're high
where
school kids,
Ricky
some
gets
of them.
shot in the back.
Right? He did.
Poor Ricky.
All because he had to stop and pee.
That's going to go up against the movie Brick.
Wow.
Now, have you seen Brick?
Bits and pieces of that one.
I have definitely seen Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, that one.
I don't think Brick is going to hold up to Boys in the Hood
Boys in the Hood
anyway.
has soundtrack too.
Boys in the Hood is everything.
How to
so we're going
Survive
to do
in South Central? Come on.
Boys in the Hood moves on. Like that is too.
I
easy
own that
one.
on CD. I think I still have it.
Up next, a tough one. Juice, another really good movie.
A little violent.
A little violent, but a very good movie. Also stars one Tupac Shakur.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Versus Romeo and Juliet, starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
one. Oh, that's
it's a really, you know what the problem with that Leonardo DiCaprio one is? It's really watchable. Like you would think the way
Visually
that it
cool.
comes off, like you would think, but then when they hit you with the double of the visuals, that are so awesome, it's kind of a nice mix, and it's really rewatchable often.
My daughter wanted some 90s music, and I told her just to listen to that soundtrack. That soundtrack.
That's a great soundtrack, too.
Did 90s, right
Did she
there.
enjoy it?
That or The Crow.
She does, yeah. She's listening to
I'd say The Crow.
And The Crow, yeah. The Romeo and Juliet is like the indie pop part of the 90s, and The Crow is like the darkness.
Ooh.
The dark bands, you know, the 9 Inch Nails, the Cure, band.
Would go Romeo and Juliet over Juice.
I would agree with you.
Because
gonna let Pete
it's
off the
just, we're going to let Pete off the hook.
Deal with Juice. Juice.
All right. And our final one in this next stop to adulthood. And I've noticed something about these. If you've noticed, each one has kind of this quasi cast of people that are a little older, like a Patrick Swayze, mixed with some younger teens. Right.
Dudes.
So whether it's that or Jonah Hill and what's his name, and some teens that are like, it's kind of this mix of where there's a lot of learning.
Patrick Swayze's pretty good at that older brother stuff. He was the older brother in Red Dawn.
The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which for the 1990s is one of those classic, iconic, like teen movies.
That's the Wes Anderson film.
Exactly.
Wes Anderson showed up.
But it's got no chance because it's going up against what might be a dark horse for this entire division. Dazed and Confused.
Time move.
Yeah.
Dazed and Confused
on,
wins. Man. Okay, like that is
quotable line. That might have the most quotable line of all time. You know what I mean? Two of them, 1 and 2. everyone knows all right, but the cooler if you did.
The cooler if you did.
Hey, come on, man. That's fantastic.
Cool, dude.
All right. So we're moving on to the next round, Pete, where Superbad runs into Can't Buy Me Love.
That's still super bad.
Can't Buy Me Love is that classic boy, girl, sweetheart, eventually works itself out movie.
Almost did it with his mom.
Like Mannequin. Like the movie Mannequin, right? Where it's like it's its own self-contained problem that works itself out. You realize, they just lock themselves in a mall for no reason.
Wouldn't it be great at the end of Mannequin if we find out he's nuts? He's just crazy.
Like, you know what? Hey, you know what?
There's no woman.
Listen, you know what you just...
lunatic.
No, you know what you just... Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you know what you just stumbled into? Either the next great idea or the most missed opportunity of all time. Think about this. Hear me out. No, hear me out. Don't go any further. Just stop. Take Mannequin, for example. Take your theory, for example. Now, let me apply your theory in an applicable way so that you can see this come to fruition. You'll go, oh, my God. You know how we have scenes after the credits?
Oh, yeah.
The 80s completely missed the mark on the opportunity for movies like that might have had a unique... You could have done post-credit scenes, and it was a twist. It was always a twist. It was... He ended up being crazy the whole time. He was writing a story, and what eventually comes out of that is the subculture of people who get into movies that have these post-credit scenes, and which one has the greatest twist, and which one has a...
Might have been the coolest thing ever.
Now, it could have been the coolest thing ever that was a missed opportunity, or maybe we go back and we put twists onto the end of credit scenes now.
Find Easter
eggs that we create, custom Easter eggs to screw people's heads up.
All right, look at that.
What do you think, ladies and gentlemen?
Part, he says something about this, but he's actually crazy.
Oh, my goodness. That's all of our endings, though, is it's just somebody writing a poem or a story, and they were just doing a chapter of the book, and then they rip a page out, throw it in the air, and it spins into the trash can.
What was the hospital drama that its last episode turns out?
St. Elsewhere. St.
Took
Elsewhere.
place inside the snow globe of an autistic boy. It's like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah. I'm going to go Superbad.
It's like Twin Peaks, but same.
I got to go Superbad, Jay. Where are you going?
Oh, yeah, Superbad.
Superbad's going to beat this one. McLovin alone. There's no reason.
There's too many. I mean, come on.
Can't Buy Me Love can't touch Superbad. How about
Superbad's got like 10 quotable lines.
Dude, they let McLovin go shoot guns with them. The cops did in a parking lot.
The story about they tells them in the bar when they show up at the house.
Barry. It's Barry. The guy who plays Barry.
There you go.
All right. American Pie.
Winner.
Versus
an icon. For sure.
Classic. And it's spawned so many good sequels.
Versus Can't Hardly Wait. As much as this might seem like
Can't Hardly Wait's like a PG version of American Pie.
See, and that's the thing. I feel like when it's all said and done, Stifler's mom, all that stuff, right? The nicknames, everything. Like when it's all said and done,
what he calls
American Pie is just going to outwork Can't Hardly Wait. It's not that Can't Hardly Wait isn't good. It's that American Pie brings too much to the table.
Too many lines. You start quoting lines like you might remember that scene where he tells him about college sucks when you're in high school or whatever out by the swing. You remember everything in American Pie.
This one time in band camp.
Right, just that right there.
This one time in band camp.
That.
This
the
one
apple
time.
Pie.
Oh, yeah, the apple pie, the warm apple pie on the counter.
Shannon, whatever her name is at the end.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Right.
American Pie was one of those movies.
Illegal cable.
Guys, our next round here has a.
What were you saying?
This has got.
Movies that what?
Well, it was one of those that you felt like that was your high school growing up.
Not my high school. Everyone fought.
Here's the deal.
Who we got?
Grease. This could be a big. This could be a big matchup. Grease versus Boys in the Hood.
Oh my God.
Oh wow.
Boys in the Hood is a really good movie. That's a really well done movie. Grease brings a lot to the table, and well,
If I was 20, I probably would go straight easy Boys in the Hood. But now that I'm older, I might appreciate Grease more. I don't know.
I
mean, that's a pro tip for any guys out there. If you want to meet girls and have them like you, know things about Grease.
If I have to, once again, it's not that Boys in the Hood doesn't beat Grease. I think Grease just outworks.
Again,
Boys in the Hood. It's just got
much.
so much going on with it.
Because it has a soundtrack,
and everything is about being a teenager and being in a gang or a group or being identified with a group of the dorks or not the dorks or the socials or the this.
If you've went to a wedding, you've definitely heard Summer Lovin'. You probably didn't hear Ice Cube.
Or Boys in the Hood.
Or Boys in the Hood.
So, all right. I'm going to go Grease.
Yeah.
What about you, Pete?
Grease.
Grease?
Yeah.
Grease for everybody. Okay. And finally, in this section, okay? Because this is setting us up for our final segment of the show, gentlemen. Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
One Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
Plus the guy, the black guy. He's a great actor. Harold Perrineau, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He plays the Montague or the other guy. Or
yeah.
what's it? I can't. Now I'm blanking on Romeo and Juliet, and I should never do that. Romeo and Juliet versus Dazed and Confused.
Oh, wow.
I don't think that this is
That's not
much
as
of a
close as you think.
competition. It's not as close as people think. Dazed and Confused just has a lot going on.
So much.
But it's that good of a storyline.
Right?
Like, it's that good at acting.
Yeah.
It's that good at the storyline. Like, if I had to, don't get me wrong, Romeo and Juliet's got some good acting in it.
No,
but I can find one actor or one character in Dazed and Confused over 3 or 4 actors every single time in Romeo or Juliet. There's one guy doing it way better.
Right? Even the people you don't even know are so good in that.
I got to go Dazed and Confused.
Well, you sold me.
Yeah, we sold Pete.
I just, guys, I don't think it's that difficult to decide in this one.
No, that's a pretty easy one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have ourselves a final 4. We're going to take a quick break here on 1280 AM KYRO and the Qnow. And when we come back, we're going to have more with Pete Kachulis of Did You Know, as well as more with myself, Mark Bland, and Jason Call over there. We'll be back here on the Q after this. 1280 AM at KYRO, News Radio, KYRO.com every Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. The Qnow, Mark Bland, Jason Call, and Pete Kachulis today hanging out. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. All right. Welcome back. We are doing the final 4 of the Next Stop to Adulthood section of the Tournament of Pop Culture Best Teen Movie of All Time. And it's difficult time now, guys. It's time for it to be difficult time. Difficult time is not my favorite time, but it is a time.
Okay.
Superbad, Jason, versus American Pie.
Oh, my God.
Right off the bat. Right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen. Like, right into it. Slap you in the face with it. I might take a controversial stance here, but I'm going to say American Pie. Superbad's great.
It is. But it's only great because of American Pie.
I think it is. I think that's kind of the truth. If it wasn't for American Pie kind of setting that standard of an R-rated comedy.
Totally brought it back, because when's the last
Well, this is the first.
R-rated comedy
This is our beginnings of Seth Rogen and James Franco writing and creating Pineapple Express and Superbad and all these movies at that time period. So this is the beginning of when we get to hear those great movies come from that great duo. And I think that American Pie is, dude, just the light storyline behind the scene with Finch, and Stifler's mom, is great. It's got little tentacles everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
And it has Eugene Levy.
It's got, and that's a classic comedy guy. There you go. I'm going to go American Pie over Superbad. Pete, where are you going to go?
Well, American Pie is more or less, you're going from high school. You're at the end of your high school going to...
Right. It's the last year of senior year of high school.
American Pie.
Yeah.
But Superbad is just kind of like a weekend in high school.
Yeah.
For
it doesn't take
are they
place
senior years? Are they juniors?
I think it's like senior
Juniors
night,
or seniors, something like that.
Graduation parties they're going to, and they're trying to get the liquor there.
I'm going American Pie. Pete's going American Pie. Jay,
I
where
was
are you going to
go that way anyway.
You're going to go American Pie also? I know that might be an upset for some people, and it probably is.
For people about 10 years younger than us, that probably is an upset.
It probably is, but unfortunately, American Pie, like when you watch it,
classic.
It's rewatchable a lot.
All the time.
Like I'm not always finding myself wanting to rewatch Superbad. I rewatched it late last year, like maybe in September, October of last year.
I would stop, but yeah, I would rather watch. I mean, American Pie has 2 wedding and reunion
those movies are good.
They're good.
They're solid.
They're really good.
All right. And our next Final Four, Dazed and Confused, could be a dark horse,
right?
Versus Grease.
Oh.
Now, Dazed and Confused has got a stellar cast, too.
It does.
It's got Academy Award nominations for different parts of the film.
It has music. They don't sing, but it has music.
It does have an amazing. It's got a way better soundtrack.
Yeah,
nothing against Grease.
No.
Matching them up, soundtrack for soundtrack. I'm taking Dazed and Confused all day long. And there's kind of that nostalgic throwback, whereas Grease is kind of the 50s, 60s. Yeah. Like that Greaser Socia's time, like The Outsiders is kind of based.
It's like they say
Dazed and Confused is thrown
all the time.
Dazed
70s showed 50s, 90s did 70s.
Yeah, 90s did the 70s.
Yeah.
Now the 2010s did a little bit of the 90s near the end. I think we're doing a lot of the 90s now.
Yeah,
we're kind of throwing back to the 90s, and like I heard that the Fat Burger or whatever. What was the show with Keenan and Kel?
Oh, Good Burger.
Good Burger. They got another movie coming out soon.
Oh, wow.
Like the throwback to the 90s. If I had to choose between these, I'm taking Dazed and Confused. Nothing against Grease. I love Grease.
Yeah, but you're talking. I mean, Grease is more. I mean, you're talking 2 movies here, like Great.
Grease didn't feel like it's a high school. That's the problem. It's set in high school. They're teenagers in high school. It's high school.
When I watch it feels like an older movie
because of the age of the actors at the time.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Late 20s.
They're all in their mid to late 20s when they're acting to be 18 years old. So, they all come off older looking, even the females.
It's like going grandpa versus dad. Okay? So.
I'm going Dazed and Confused.
Well, go with it.
And you're going with?
I still like Grease.
You're going with Grease. So, Jason, you're going to be the deciding factor. Do you respect your elders, Jason? Do you respect your elders, or do you know Dazed and Confused is just a baller movie?
Or do I send you back to your room?
You might send him back to his room.
I definitely respect my elders, but I think Dazed and Confused is more of a teen movie to me than Grease. When I was growing up, Grease was like this older film that was back, showed like kids in the 50s, but it was really good though.
All right. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are to our final.
And that's a matchup. Ooh, it's a fight.
American Pie and the classicness that it was for the 90s specifically.
Right.
Both of these are 90s movies, by the way. Versus Dazed and Confused. And in fact, a lot of these on this list were 90s movies.
90s ones,
like I've got, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 out of 16 of them are from the 90s. So, American Pie versus Dazed and Confused. That's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some entertainingly funny parts about Dazed and Confused.
There's more drama in Dazed and Confused.
Well, I'm going to get a little bit more of an overall movie from Dazed and Confused because it's a better storyline. It's tied together better.
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on in that film.
Yeah, but I think it's just hard to deny Dazed and Confused. That's the problem. Dazed and Confused is just that good of a movie. That's almost, Dazed and Confused is almost like a Shawshank. Like when you're talking about like really, give me the best movie from the 90s. It could arguably be Shawshank Redemption, right? Legitimately. But then again, if I asked you, give me the best movie of all time, it could arguably be Shawshank Redemption.
Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to let Pete decide because I am perfectly fine with either one. I will go American Pie.
Yeah, I don't mind either one technically winning, but I feel like...
Although Dazed and Confused is probably a better film overall, American Pie is so funny.
American Pie can match up against anybody in a Final Four.
Right? It's just...
For sure.
Did you do anything that was in American Pie in your lifetime?
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
like 30 or 40 different things.
Okay.
I did things the same way as Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, but did you do more things from what American Pie came out as versus Dazed and Confused?
Well, Dazed and Confused was kind of like a more serious approach with some young actors that were closer to my age when it came out. They kind of played older parts of the high school drama situation. Yeah. But when you say, did I do more? I did things in Dazed and Confused. I also did things in American Pie. Like, they both spoke to me in different ways. American Pie was a little bit more to my time period.
Yeah.
Like, legitimately, like, things, the way they dressed, the way they looked, the way, like, the vibe of it was closer to my time period in 98, 99 than...
And it took place when it came out.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
The music was
Did
the
you
same.
have your dad give you the birds and the bees speech? I mean,
My parents never told me anything.
My parents never said a word to me about a single thing. They never did.
Learned from porn.
I never even realized that until right now. Like, my parents never said it. I never thought about it, but they never...
They didn't tell us anything.
All right. Pete, it's up to you. American Pie or Dazed and Confused? Who wins the next stop to adulthood section?
I'm on American Pie.
Oh,
You're on American
I'm fine with that
Pie.
too.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. American
Watch out, you
Pie
other
moves
three.
through.
Soon to come, other third one, but
just
the other two, watch
don't
out.
throw any apple pies at me or anything. Okay?
All right, at least not ones that Mark's been around.
Now, Pete, we like to do things on this show. And you have a cool YouTube channel. If people wanted to find you, first off, they could go to youtube.com, right? And they could search up Pete K. What's the best way for them to check you out, to find you?
YouTube.com. Now YouTube's got the handle now.
What's your handle?
At Peter Kachulis.
All right.
Did you know?
Slash, did you know? Oh, dash. Dash, did you know?
Yeah.
Pete Kachulis. Peter or Pete Kachulis?
Peter.
Peter Kachulis. K-A... Chulis. Dash, did you know?
There you go.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, and that's how you can find him. You probably can Google that also. I'm sure if you Googled it, it would find its way to our said friend Pete over here. As well as check out his other shows. Those are called the P&K Experience.
Right. And the other one was just my wife who passed a few years ago. She was a poet.
Okay.
And she created some 50, 60 poems. And so I set them to video, and it's Poems and Thoughts is what's the name of the channel.
That's cool.
And it's all about her poems.
Fair enough. P&K Experience, what can people experience on that? Like, what do they get?
It's more or less entertaining. I mean, you're looking at...
What's the most entertaining thing you did so far, you would say? Like, what's the most memorable thing that has stuck out from the P&K Experience?
For me, it's the Tron video. It's all Tron.
Your Tron?
No, Tron. I mean... Tron. I mean, these guys that dressed up with the flashers and everything else. I mean, it's, I don't know.
Now, you've met these people personally, or this is just a video you found?
It's videos of the various Tron dancers out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got.
There's Tron dancers?
Yes, Tron dancers.
I didn't know Tron was a dance thing.
Oh,
I thought it was just a Disney movie from back when I was a kid or younger.
no, it's Tron dancers out there. I mean, they dress up with the suit, and I mean, they light themselves.
And they
up
light themselves up to like swing their stuff around and,
You got
and
it.
see the LEDs go coolly swinging around.
You got it. I wish I could get some of them suits that they got.
You want to be a Tron dancer? That's what you want, isn't it?
I'll
It'd be
just,
cool to be in Tron.
Did you know that Pete wanted to be a Tron dancer? That was my newest piece of information.
Like that last Tron movie, that was pretty good.
I did see. Yeah, the last one was okay.
That was good.
The one with
Clever
Jeff.
storyline, yeah. That his son was coming to get
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you think of Tron, though?
It's
one of those things
a
that-
subgenre of nerd culture.
It's one of those things that never catches on.
No, it's just a
It
little.
just never catches on.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
but
didn't have a big game. Didn't have toys that really sold. It just
Yeah.
not like
stayed
that,
on
but
there.
I mean, it still reminds me of AI in ways
Yeah.
because you're being sucked into a
yeah,
game.
that's true. And it did have a pretty popular arcade game.
Pete, are you worried about AI?
Motorcycle game.
Yes and no.
Is the media making you worried about it by talking about it on the news all the time?
Not
Because
necessarily.
it's being talked about almost continually across all the networks. Everybody, I don't care your political stance. All the networks are talking about AI in some form or fashion or news story at all times.
I'm just afraid of the damage it can cause. I mean, just by faking people out, because people are ready to be faked out.
Well,
Yeah, people don't need to be faked out anymore.
take
than
the
they
movie
already are.
Terminator. I mean, is a company going to hire
Right? Yep.
AI to become their security? And then,
And then they flip.
yeah, and
now
then
you got these armed
AI
robots.
says that you humans are nasty, so let's get rid of you.
Yeah, they're running on computers. No thought.
Did you know that AI could take over the world?
Sure, they could. They
can.
could control our
It depends.
communications.
Then again, maybe you get another madman and takes over.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to get out of here on this episode of the Qnow. First off, I want to thank our guest today, whatever it is, Pete Kachulis. Thank you so much, Mr. Kachulis, for being on our show. He has got a YouTube channel called Did You Know? You can search him up by the name Peter Kachulis, Kachulis. ULIS. There it is. Thank you so much, Pete. We really appreciate you being on the show. Hope you had a good time.
I did. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Sire.
Hey,
Jason Call, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
once again doing this show.
Thank you.
People can find more about us you can go to newsradiokyro.com,
Yeah, look at that.
or you can also go to theqnow.com. That's TheQNOW.com. More about us, old episodes, new episodes, everything in between. And that's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you guys next time here on 1280 AM KYRO.